This is fluid film. This is a lot of fluid film. So I bought this Jeep. It's a 2015 JK. I bought it in 2017, bought it used. And the winters here are pretty harsh. We get a decent amount of snow, but if it snows about a foot, the county decides to throw down about a foot of salt just to fight it off. So it's a little extreme, rusts out the vehicles really quick. I did a ton of rust repair work on my truck, and that's not something that I want to have to do on this thing. I want to try to preserve it for as long as possible. So I was looking at a ton of ways, different ways that I could protect the undercarriage, all the metal on it, the body panels, and there's a lot of different options you can go with, but I decided to go with fluid film. So I run the Jeep every single winter. I got the Mountaineer, but that's two-wheel drive, so it gets parked. I also have the truck, but I'm still repairing all the rust from it going through all the winters, so that's not exactly drivable. So the Jeep is my main source of transportation when the weather starts getting cold. So I'm going to go through all the pros and cons of using fluid film, at least in my experience, and I'll also throw a link down in the description of everything I use to actually fluid film my Jeep. Alright, so we'll start with the pros. So fluid film does an excellent job at protecting the metal. I'll show you some shots of exactly what the Jeep looks like right now. This is after 4 years of driving every single winter. So when I do apply it, I'm not really careful about how I'm applying it. I go underneath there and I spray it. I don't tape anything off. I don't tape bushings off. I don't tape the exhaust off. I just spray it. It can be pretty much sprayed on anything. So with that being said, as long as you have bushings that are oil resistant, fluid film is perfectly fine to spray on them. I'm just assuming that everything under the Jeep is oil resistant, so like I said, I spray everything. It's easy to apply. I have a spray gun. You can also use cans, just regular aerosol cans. In the doors, I have to use aerosol cans because the nozzle is smaller, so it just gives me access in some of those tighter areas. But the spray gun, it comes with these big tubes, and you can stick them down your frame and you can spray everything. It's very easy to apply. It also creeps in all the nooks and crannies, and it also self-heals, which is great, especially if you're driving an off-road vehicle. If you're driving it off-road or even on a gravel road and it starts throwing up rocks, if you have a normal coating or if you have paint or something, if that rock chips it, your coating's gone. But fluid film, if that rock takes off that fluid film, it'll creep back into that area. Fluid film, it does get in all the nooks and crannies. You can spray it a little more liberally. You don't have to spray it in every single area. As long as you're getting it close, it'll creep around 2 inches and it'll actually spread into all those areas. So that's really nice when you're applying it. Fluid film can also be sprayed directly over rust. It's not going to get rid of the rust, but it will stop it. So if you spray it over rust, that rust is not going to get any worse. It's just going to stay the way it is. It'll keep it from rusting and getting worse. All right, so now we're going to get into the cons of using fluid film. So one of the negatives, and it could probably be a positive as well, but it can easily be taken off using a pressure washer or any wheel spray. So if you spray it in your wheel wells trying to protect something in there and you go through a ton of water, or even just driving on wet roads, it will take off that fluid film. So you can either reapply it or try to find another way to protect that metal. Another con is I got a little spot, I'll show you, but there's a little spot on the back of the frame of the Jeep and the paint's getting a little wonky on it. I don't know if that's caused by the fluid film, but I don't know, it's a little suspicious. So I'll show you what that looks like. Another con of fluid film is once you spray it, it's usually good for about a year, and then you got to respray it the next year. It does wear off. I'm sure it'll last longer, but if you want actual protection, you should redo it every single year. So it's a little bit of a hassle, but not too bad. And once you see how well it protects your car, it's well worth it. So just set aside a day and get it done. It's also very messy to apply. So I use the spray gun and it kind of mystifies it and throws it up into the air, and you get overspray on everything and it's like an oily residue. So usually when I'm done spraying the bottom of my Jeep, I have a thin layer of fluid film on top of my Jeep. So it protects the outside of my Jeep as well, but then you kind of got to wash your Jeep and get all that off the outside because it is messy. It gets all over your hands, all over your clothes. It gets in everything. Another negative thing about fluid film is it makes for messy repairs. So once you spray it on, if you do need to repair anything underneath your Jeep, it's going to be covered in fluid film. So it's going to be covered in this oil. And you kind of have to work through that. It's for the protection, it's worth it, but your hands will be a mess if you're trying to repair anything, and you're going to get fluid film on everything yet again. So it also collects dust and dirt. I guess that could be kind of seen as a good thing. I know back in the day they used to spray down their whole undercarriage with oil, and then they would go drive down dusty roads and try to get that dirt and oil packed on there. and it would just help protect it. But once you do apply fluid film, the bottom of your car is going to look brand new. But then as you start driving it, all that dirt and grime, it does stick to that fluid film and it starts looking a little grungy. But not to worry, still doing its job. And the very last con I have is it is a smelly product. When I first put it on, it bothered me. But then over the years, I've gotten very used to it. And now, since I see how well it works, the smell doesn't really bother me anymore. It's well worth it. And once you do spray it, if you do spray your exhaust or anything, it's gonna burn off and it's gonna smell even worse. And another thing with that is once it does burn off your exhaust, it will smoke. So if you got smoke pouring through your gear shifter like I did, don't be alarmed. It's the fluid film burning off. You're not starting an electrical fire or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the tires off the Jeep. That way we can get a better look. But before I take you under there, make sure you like and subscribe to these videos. And if you want to see the exact process I use to do this, stay tuned for that video. It's going to be posted. So here's up underneath the front fender. You can see where all that fluid film, it's still holding up. It's still wet. We don't have any rust under here. All of this is just dirt that the fluid film collected. Really held up well up under here. I don't see any significant rust to talk about. So up underneath your cross member, you can see where I've hit it on a bunch of rocks, and where I've scraped it up real good, it is starting to rust. And then also I got a fuel tank skid plate. Still has a little layer of fluid film on it, but it is starting to rust kind of all along these edges, and I got a nice gouge in it the whole way down, and that scrape's rusting pretty good. Here's my transfer case skid plate. So you can see here, we got all these scrapes and scratches, and where all that is, starting to get some rust there. But all the bolts and everything, they look pretty good. Some more scrapes up here. They got some rust on them. So you can see the whole length of this frame. There is no rust even in all these welds. Nothing there. Nothing the whole way up. Inside looks good. You got your actual body here. All these little cutouts in it. It's messy, but no rust. And none of this is rust, that's all dirt. Oh, that's dirt, not rust. Working our way to the back. Looks like the body's doing good. Nothing wrong there. The bottom of the pumpkin is starting to rust a little, but that's definitely an area that's going to be getting sprayed with all sorts of water off the wheels and the road. So that's kind of understandable, but this is starting to rust here. So here's that funky paint spot I was talking about. You can see how the paint's kind of bubbling. I don't know if that's something that's just from the factory, because it's not doing it anywhere else on the frame. It's only doing it in these two spots on both sides. You can see how the paint's starting to like ripple and kind of drip down. No idea what that's about, but not sure if fluid film's causing that, but it's just something to be aware of. But all that looks good. No real rust under here. All these components are looking pretty good. And in the very, very back, we got our hitch receiver. No rust, everything looks good. No real rust to talk about back here. And even inside the receiver, I do use it to tow a small trailer every now and then. Nothing crazy, but there's really no rust inside that receiver, which is pretty unusual. So that'll give you a little rundown of how well it's held up. I'm gonna go ahead, degrease this whole thing, clean it up, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like cleaned up. That'll give you a much better understanding of how well it's held up. So here's some shots of everything just pressure washed, so you can see how much of that fluid film and how much of that dirt is actually removed just with the pressure washer. If you're that kind of person that sprays down the bottom of their car every single winter trying to get the salt off, you're not going to want to do that once you apply the fluid film. You're going to have to trust the product. You're going to have to spray it on here and just let it do its thing. Don't take the pressure washer and try to clean underneath it, because you're going to remove that fluid film and it's just going to make things worse. So that took a while for me to get used to, but like I said, in the winter I don't pressure wash the bottom of my Jeep. I don't even touch it. So here's a look underneath the Jeep now that it's all cleaned up. All your little cross members and everything are all clean. All this up here, it's not rust, it's just dirt. So all that's just dirt. And you can see if I wipe off that old fluid film, all these brackets look brand new. All those cross members look brand new. So even though the paint is flaking off of this axle, It's not too rusted. It looks like there's a little bit, like extremely minor surface rust in there, but nothing bad. I know the shocks were one of the first things to go, so I actually painted this part black last year, sanded them down and kind of painted them. Shocks usually don't last too long. Here's the hitch receiver. All that looks good. All this right here is just dirt, not rust. And you can see I have a layer of fluid film still on here. So now we're looking underneath the doors. You can see the paint starting to come off of these rails here on the body, but there's no rust in any of that. All this here, just dirt. Up in here, all this is just dirt. No rust anywhere. All that's good. You can see back in here where we've hit some rocks. We got a little bit of rust, just surface rust, nothing serious. All these bolts look pretty good. No rust on them. Got your cross member here. It's got a little bit of rust on it. Mostly where it's been scraped up with the rocks. Everywhere else looks pretty good. Doesn't look like there's any rust inside of any of these holes. All these bolts and everything still look very good. No rust in there. Front control arms. All that looks good. Here's the front axle. Still pretty minty fresh. Take a look at the front suspension now. Not seeing a whole lot of rust. Mostly just paint coming off. There might be a little bit in here starting. The shocks are starting to rust, but like I said, they were the first thing to start going. You can look inside the frame. All that looks pretty good, and even that bolt back there doesn't have any rust on it. All this here is just dirt. No rust forming in there. And on the other side, looks like we're starting to get a little rust in that knuckle. Got a little bit starting on this bump stop. It looks like the paint's starting to come off of this bracket here on the axle. Other than that, everything's looking pretty good. See the frame? Look inside there. The fluid film doesn't seem to bother any of these rubber components. Here's the bump stop, it looks just fine. And up in the front here, we got the sway bar. This is all rubber, that looks good. All these boots, they end up getting sprayed. All that's looking good. All these little rubber components, they look just like the day I bought the thing. Does fluid film work? In my opinion, absolutely. There's a reason I do it every single year. It's not exactly the easiest thing, it takes some time. It's really messy, but in my opinion, it does a great job of protecting the Jeep, and that's what I care about the most. All I really want is to get this vehicle to last as long as possible. I paid a lot of money for it, want it to last. And the winters kill vehicles. Look at my truck. A lot of rust repair work on that thing. But I'll let you guys make your own opinion on whether or not you think it works. You saw underneath my Jeep. Unfortunately, I don't have a control vehicle to go by. I don't have enough money to buy another Jeep and not fluid film it, then have this one and then fluid film this one and then see how they both deteriorate over time. So this is the best I could do. I'll just keep posting these videos every single year and we can just watch the progress. But I have seen other Jeeps in my area, and I have a couple buddies with some JKs, and their Jeeps are significantly more rusted out than mine. I mean, visually, just from the outside, you can look at the frame and you can see that they're rusted. Mine, it looks spotless, but once you get up under there, it has a little bit of rust. So fluid film, it doesn't prevent rust 100%, but it does a significantly better job at preventing it than just not having anything coated at all. So I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing, keep on applying that fluid film every single year. Hopefully this baby will last forever. So if you guys like these videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Thank you for watching.